Hello villagers, welcome back to another video here in Stacy's Random POV. And of course, I'm pretty sure you guys already know what is happening in Chicago. President-elect Kamala Harris had her day one a few days ago of her DNC Democratic National Convention because she really wants to be president. We are all aware with that comes a big nay, a humongous responsibility. A lot of people of color, people who support Palestine, were protesting and taken to the streets because they feel like Kamala Harris policies geared towards supporting Israel. But yet again, the other option, it seems like that is something that they are holding or harboring this kind of feelings to, because I don't see them showing up in Donald Trump's rally. I don't see these people there. So it always makes me to think, seems like they know who to do it to, right? Like always, people of color are most critical to other people of color. But if you are not a person of color, you will be praised. Even if you are just speaking out of your... This is something that we've seen throughout history within our own community. If you are a person of color, and or if you are a minority or considered to be a minority of descent. But of course, we're not here to discuss any of those things. But if you do want to discuss it, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below to let me know, and put a timestamp, please, so that I can know exactly which clip you are talking about, and I will respond back to the comment. So a lot of people of color were in the streets of Chicago, just demonstrating and saying everything how they feel regarding Kamala Harris and her policies. It's a sad and crazy situation in times that we're living in today, considering that we don't really have a better alternative. I understand what's happening inside of us and what's happening around us. I hope you guys are too, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to say, what you guys think about this entire situation, what's happening in Chicago. I really pray and hope that they are not, I honestly just hope that they are not going around destroying stores, businesses, eateries, restaurants, or any of the sort, because that essentially just destroys the infrastructure for the people that lives, for the citizens, the people that pay their taxes to live in that town, in Chicago, and they are not just going along with the campaign run, because that'll just make life harder. And it's very unfortunate that a lot of people that try to fight for equality and fairness for everyone in this country, in this world, have find themselves in a fork road where they cannot be able to champion that belief, that statement, that in fact we are all equal, that we all matter somehow, either in a small way or in a smaller scale. But I can't wait to see what you guys think. I put together a whole lot of videos. Hopefully you find some information that is valuable to you. Also live footage of the protest in the streets, and I would really like for you guys to pay close attention to what this crowd of people were saying, specifically to the police, because they couldn't get anywhere near Kamala Harris or anyone that works with her, so that you can make the best decision for yourself and your family in this crazy election. Now, with that being said, you guys, you already know, if you want to be a member of my village, all you have to do is hit that beautiful subscribe button and you will be automatically a member of this village. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you on my next video.
Cheryl, tonight, most of the noise coming from inside the United Center, but not so earlier today when there was great noise from outside the United Center as some people were attempting to dismantle the fencing around the perimeter. The incursion was swift and unexpected. First video here of snapped-together iron fencing taken down and in some cases dragged away by so-called protesters. With holes in the outer perimeter, dozens of intruders were one security layer closer to the actual United Center, even before the gavel fell on first-day proceedings. Within minutes, Chicago police broke out the riot gear and swarmed the frenzied scene. Secret Service officials paused delegate buses to the UC, and Superintendent Larry Snelling rushed to the site to back up his officers, speaking live with the I-Team.
What's the plan to prevent this from happening again?
Well, that's something that we're going to have to assess.
I
We
mean,
need to assess that.
is the fencing sufficient, or
We need to assess that. That's an assessment we're going to make once we clear everything.
Backed up by U.S. Capitol Police, the January 6th agency, CPD officers wrestled gate crashers to the pavement, at least 4 arrested.
We're going to protect their right to express themselves, but we're not going to stand for any mayhem.
After the fence was patched up, even more police riot teams cleared the adjacent 578 park, Superintendent Snelling praising the training and restraint of officers.
Our officers did not respond with any type of chemicals. We didn't respond with batons. Our officers responded with their hands the way that they were trained to do. If things had escalated to that point, then we would have used what we had to use. But we used the least amount of force to take these certain individuals into custody.
And now tonight, looking forward to what is next, tomorrow's planned protest in front of the Israeli consulate in Chicago. It is not a permitted protest. That, tonight, has Chicago police concerned. Cheryl, tonight, most of the noise coming from inside the United Center, but not so earlier today when there was great noise from outside the United Center as some people were attempting to dismantle the fencing around the perimeter. The incursion was swift and unexpected. First video here of snapped-together iron fencing taken down and in some cases dragged away by so-called protesters. With holes in the outer perimeter.
This is a big event for Chicago. I want to start by asking, what is the plan to deal with what appear to be pretty large protests?
Yeah, well, thank you, Joy, for having me tonight. Look, the city of Chicago is prepared for this convention. What better place than the city of Chicago to launch the first black woman of Asian descent to the White House, along with a social studies teacher and Governor Walz, much just like myself. The city of Chicago, of course, has been at the center of attention for a very long time. We are the global city of the world, and this is the city that raised the consciousness of America through the writings and expertise of Ida B. Wells. This is the city that said that we have to keep hope alive, and that paved the pathway for, yes, we can, electing President Barack Obama. And so protest, of course, has played an intricate part in our democracy, and protecting the First Amendment right is fundamental to protecting our democracy. So we're going to have a very safe, vibrant, electrifying convention that will ultimately make history by securing the most powerful position in the land and one of the most powerful positions in the entire world, that position being held by a black woman, the person made, of course, in God's image.
Kamala Harris's big week in Chicago, the Democratic National Convention, meant to boost her popularity to Americans and send her on to the White House at the November 5th presidential election. One big problem. Protesters. There are tens of thousands of them in Chicago for the 4-day convention, knowing they can put pressure on her and on the White House to do more to restrain Israel, particularly in the Gaza war. In fact, they want an arms embargo so that the US, Israel's biggest sponsor, stops sending weapons. More details, follow 7 News, and of course, watch tonight at 6 o'clock.
Before I continue this video, you guys, the images in this video, they're very hard. So if you're sensitive, please, careful and feel free to skip.
Palestine is your issue. I want to add that there are people who are upset that we're criticizing and holding the Democrats accountable, that somehow we are giving power to Trump. We recognize Trump and Project 2025 are dangerous. We know the dangers of his administration and his son-in-law Jared Kushner's racist rhetoric and colonial ambitions to further colonize Palestine. We know Jared was honored by the anti-Black, anti-Arab, anti-Muslim, Anti-Defamation League, ADL. The ADL had him as a speaker of the convention. So that's why we marched on the DNC. In closing, this incredible mobilization is here because of all of you and your solidarity. And we will end Zionism.
I'm here today because I want the Biden-Harris administration and I want Vice President Harris to know that there are people who are not willing to vote for her if she is going to continue to arm and fund the Israelis and participate in genocide.
I want to see transgender people be respected for who they are, and I want peace and love and justice.
Y'all ain't never seen Cicero. Look at this. This is Cicero in 55 right here. Cicero in 55. Y'all have never, ever seen this shit this clean before. Ever. Look at this. Where are the people at? There's usually homeless people everywhere, every corner. Y'all ain't never, look at this. Clean. Manicured. Y'all ain't never seen this before. I don't think we even ever seen this, because this has always been a big ass eyesore. Every time you gotta go to Midway or you through here or anything. Phony ass politicians. Hey, Chicago, you know what would be truly sad? If like somebody went around or a bunch of people went around with like their old TVs, old couches, old mattresses, just whatever you had, and everywhere that these people have faked the cleanup, just thrown all their shit out every night before this convention, every night leading to both of the airports. Or if you like had a drunk uncle and you just dropped them on one of the corners with like a 30 pack and some signs that say fuck you, you know, Kamala can eat ass, whatever, you know. If you just round up all the toothless ass prostitutes that be walking around the west side and gave them like $20 just to stand on the corners with their titties out, you know, went to Home Depot, round up a bunch of Venezuelans for like $5 each, and we just drop them right on the expressway, you know, coming into the city with signs saying y'all some bitches, you know, hey, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? If we all kind of just band together, you know, or a group, you know, just kind of band together and just said, fuck y'all. Y'all ain't being phony because y'all don't do this shit for us on the regular, so why you doing it now? Wouldn't that be kind of crazy if everybody just, you know, go to McDonald's, all your shit just, hey, let's put them to work. Let's put these tax dollars to hard work, you know? That would be just crazy if people just started doing that. Whole big ass bags of garbage. Nothing with your mail in it or anything like that, but you know, if there was big ass bags of garbage all over the place, you know, some old chicken bones and shit. Who knows, you know? Because it's just kind of ridiculous what they're doing, y'all. But there's all kinds of ways to protest. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
There's been talk in the public about Harris as maybe a more understanding person, more willing to listen, more empathetic, you know, whatever the adjectives that have been used. But for us, that's meaningless if there's not a policy change. We don't actually care about what the personality of the President of the United States is. We care about the policies of the President of the United States. And so whether it's Joe Biden or whether it's Kamala Harris or anyone else, our demand remains the same, that we want an end to U.S. aid to Israel, we want an end to the genocide, and the reality is the President of the United States, again, whoever it was, or whoever it is, excuse me, would be able to end the genocide with one phone call. They would call Netanyahu's government and say no more arms, no more aid, no more political cover, and the genocide would end immediately. And so our demand remains the same. Kamala Harris as a candidate has only given us two policy platforms, that her support for Israel is, quote, ironclad, and that she is against an arms embargo. And so for us, that doesn't signal any type of change, and that's why we're out here demanding that the Democratic Party ends the genocide.
So as you can see here, the crowd has been massive. As you saw from those chopper shots, it really is a massive crowd here. Several different organizations. I want to show you what we're seeing here right on the front line of this march. We are headed towards Grant Park right there. You see the sign there, Free Palestine, Feminists, and LGBTQ+. All of these organizations have been coming together here to send a message on the eve of the DNC. We've seen them all rally together. We heard from several different speakers at that rally. It lasted about an hour and 20 minutes, remained peaceful the entire time. We did see several groups all marching together now, and police have maintained their presence, making sure to block off roads near Michigan and Wacker and creating the pathway to Grant Park. And as you see here behind us, people continuing to remain peaceful, march towards. They say while they agree with a lot of the Democratic policies, they do not appreciate the action that has come from a lot of the talking points that they've heard from Vice President Kamala Harris and other Democratic leaders. So today they're trying to send that message that they will make that message clear and be a voice for all of these several different organizations. So we're continuing to march our way towards Grant Park. Again, it is remaining peaceful here. They have maintained their presence as the Chicago police, and we're going to keep you updated as this continues to unfold here.
We're being ordered to vacate this area, but there's really nowhere to vacate to at this point. There's only a small breach in the fence on the north side of the street, and it is blocked right now by protesters. There you see there's some pushing, shoving, there's some confrontation. The officers on the front of the line are using their batons, holding them one in each hand across their chest, and occasionally as they step forward, pushing a protester. Tom Ahern from the Chicago Police Department now telling us to move into the park to the north, Park 578. Again, the problem with that is that the protesters are blocking the breached portion of the fence, and we have nowhere to get, no way to get back into that area right now. Okay, now they were clearing a spot, and they're going to ask us to move it through the fence into the park so that the police can begin making arrests here.
78 on the city's west side. It took about an hour or so for them to march to this location following a nearly 2-hour rally that kicked off at Union Park about 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can see it right now. Demonstrators are now tearing fencing down. This is the first that we're seeing. You see it right here live on air. These demonstrators have torn the fencing down. They're now trying to...
They breached the fence. They breached the fence. They got into the outer perimeter. They were trying to get into the inner perimeter. They were shaking the fence on the other side. Our officers responded swiftly to make sure that that didn't happen. Our job here is to make sure that we keep the DNC safe, keep our city safe, and keep our people safe. We have no idea what they would have done if they gotten onto the other side. But as I said before, we're not going to tolerate anyone who is going to vandalize things in our city. We're not going to tolerate anyone who are going to commit acts of violence.
Well, in the park. Why are you hurting your own people? You're out of your fucking league here! Get the fuck in here with us! Get in here with us, Dave! We're in the protest! We're in the protest! Respect our members! Respect our rights! They doing their job! Ain't nobody put their hands on your own. Ain't nobody touching you. You guys are going to lose your media passes if you don't go in the park. Right here. Right here. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Why are you coming over here? Let's go. Good job. Lady, come on. We'll help you down. There you go. Good job. Hey, man. Hold on. Step off the fence. Get the fence back up. Take it up. Yes. Hey, yo, where's the field? NLG. Three, 0, 2, 1.